Hello, I'm Carl Holt, president of Aero-Stream. Aero-Stream is a clean water technology company. Clean water is one of our most valuable natural resources. There's no substitute for it, and our lives depend on it. We developed a market-upsetting technology to restore failed septic systems. According to the EPA, there's 26 million septic systems in the US, and about 15% of those fail annually. The average septic system life is about 15 to 20 years, and the average cost of replacement is about $15,000. Now that can range anywhere from $6,000 to $100,000 depending on where you live. We have a $1,500 solution to a $15,000 problem. My background is in mechanical engineering. I graduated from the Milwaukee School of Engineering in 1987. I had a career in product design and development and engineering management. Worked for some pretty big companies, Kohler Company, Harley-Davidson, Master Lock, to name a few. I started my first company in 1972 when I was 9 years old. I was mowing lawns in the neighborhood, and my work ethic kind of continued onward from there. I started my first professional company in 1996, a company called Engineered Solutions. We do product design and development for companies. We also do technical recruiting. I didn't wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to get in the septic restoration business. That's not how it happened at all. What happened is I bought a house in about 1990, and it had a relatively new septic system. It was a couple years old. Didn't know a whole lot about septic systems at that point in time, so I figured that, hey, life is grand, this system's gonna last the rest of my life, as long as I live at the house, not to worry about it. Well, everything started to change in 2002. At that point, I started to notice some sewage odor in the yard, so I started tracing it down, and it led me to the septic tank. So I opened up the septic tank and removed the lid and found that the tank was completely filled. The drain field was not absorbing water like it should. So my first reaction was to call the local pumper. He came out on a Sunday afternoon, pumped the tank out, and he said, well, we'll just watch it. So I had to call him again a week later. He pumped it out again. Called him another week. He pumped it out again. And finally he said, this isn't fixing it. We're wasting money here. We got to get a new system installed. So my next step was to call the local contractor. So I called him up. He came out, assessed the situation, said, yep, it's shot, you got to replace it. He said, we can put the drain field over here, we'll put the tanks down over here, you got to remove a bunch of trees, you got to take the deck off the back of your house and reconfigure the plumbing inside the house. So to replace the septic system, I'll charge you $15,000, and to remove the trees and the deck and all of that other stuff would be about $5,000. I was shocked. I had no idea that I'm going to be spending another $15,000 to $20,000 on my septic system. And furthermore, I didn't have $15,000 to $20,000 sitting in the bank account. So I said, based on my engineering experience, I said, I got to be able to fix this thing myself. So I went to work and did a bunch of research on the internet, came up with some plans, started doing some testing, and things were underway. About the same time, I went to a graduation party at the neighbors and talking with some friends, and started telling them about my septic system woes. Trying to get a little sympathy out of them. I didn't get any sympathy out of them. We did have a good time at the party, but that was about it. So the next time I ran into them, they asked me, hey, did you replace your septic system? I said, no, I fixed it. They said, well, what do you mean you fixed it? So I went in and explained what I was doing, how I developed the process and the product, and the system was working well at that point in time. They said, well, my system doesn't work so well. Do you think you can fix mine? Before you know it, I had 10 trials underway. All of them were successful. So at that point, it dawned on me. I came up with an economical solution to solve failed septic systems, and I think I can make some money doing it. So the first thing I did is I applied for a US patent, and that was eventually granted in 2007. The next step was to get the product ready for manufacture. Did that. And then I went around and started knocking on doors of the local contractors, the pumpers, the plumbers, the installers. I thought, well, they're already in the trade, they'll embrace this technology, it's a great idea. So knocked on their doors, and they rejected the solution altogether. They all but threw me out of their office, didn't want anything to do with me. So I guess I still had this drive in my mind and said, this works, I'm going to make a go of this. So my next step was to turn to the internet and built a website and began marketing the product directly to consumers on the internet. So I did that part-time from 2002 to 2008. 2008, I hired a manager to run engineered solutions and began to focus on Aero-Stream on a full-time basis.